You swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. All right, have a seat. Talking to the microphone. Sure. Rules and votes.
I'm sorry? With regard to the invocation of the rule, our case agent is in the room. We just wanted to put that on the record.
The prosecutor indicated that they'd be calling the case agent early in the case, and so given that, I did not continue my objection to that early to her being present. Thank you.
Case agents allowed in.
Sir, state your name and spell your last name for the court record, please.
My name is Nicholas LaFleur. My last name is spelled Lefleur.
And how are you currently employed?
The City of Santa Fe Police Department.
And what do you do there?
Police officer.
How long have you been employed at the City of Santa Fe?
2 years.
Can everyone hear Officer LaFleur? Okay. And prior to working for the Santa Fe Police Department, did you work anywhere else?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you work?
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department.
And how long did you work at the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
About 2 years.
And were you on duty on October 21st of 2021?
Yes.
Did you receive a dispatch call?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you received and what you did?
A call came in that there was someone shot at a movie set. Unclear who shot, how many were shot. I happened to be the closest person to the call and arrived on scene first.
So when you arrived on scene, when you say first, were there other law enforcement officers there?
No, not at the time when I got there.
Were there any other first responders present?
There was some fire personnel and what they called a scene medic for the movie set, I guess.
You said a scene medic?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you, let me ask you, when you receive a call for a shooting, what's your primary concern?
Priority life.
And what do you mean when you say priority life?
Make sure whoever needs help gets help and that the threat is stopped.
And when you arrived on the scene, and where was it?
Bonanza Creek movie set, I guess. It's quite a ways off the interstate.
Okay. And what county and state is that in?
Santa Fe County, state of Mexico.
Okay. So when you arrived there, give us an idea of what you saw. What was going on?
It was a big, old, like cowboy western themed like city or town. There's a bunch of people running everywhere, a bunch of cars, a bunch of people pointing. When I got there, people were pointing towards a church. And I got out, I attempted to grab my medical bag and went in and saw.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop you there. Approximately how many people were there on scene?
I don't have the direct number, but there's more than 100 people.
Have you ever been called to a shooting where there were 100 people already on scene?
No.
Did that present any specific challenges for you?
Yes.
Explain to us what those challenges were.
Just there's a lot of moving parts. You just got to take it one piece at a time, see who's hurt, make sure that one, that nobody's continually getting hurt, and then two, the person who's hurt, medical attention is being given to them, and then go from there.
Okay. And when you arrived on scene that day, were you running your body-worn camera?
Yes.
The state moves for the admission of State's Exhibit 4.
No further objections, Your Honor.
I want to just make sure I'm connected. I'm ready to play it. Make permission to publish?
Was you going to recognize it first, or are you satisfied with the foundation?
Yes, Your Honor. We've consented to both lapel videos today.
That's fine. So you may publish. This is State's fund?
Four.
State's four.
How do I get the monitors to come on?
Brian's going to do it.
Okay.
You know how to do it? Go ahead, do it.
All right.
Hold on, his monitor's not on. Are your monitors on? Yes.
This one's not.
We'll turn it on.
It's on, but screen light.
Green light's on. Let me go get the adapter.
Well, can he redo it from here while he's looking? Or do you want?
Sure. The monitor won't just come on?
He's got to get the adapter. Go get the adapter. All right.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, do you want to turn around and just look at the monitor on the wall behind you?
It doesn't matter, man.
Okay, let's do that.
You got your target? Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. Stupid new truck. Are we inside with the PDMs?
Officer LaFleur, tell us Tell us what's going on in the video right now.
I'm looking for my other medic bag. I handed the individual a trauma pack for shooting, and I'm attempting to open one of the storage boxes in the back of the truck.
Who was the individual that you handed something to?
I believe it was a fire personnel that I followed in, a volunteer firefighter maybe.
And I thought I heard the word, is it BVM?
It's for CPR. It's a bag valve mask.
Valve mask.
BVM.
Okay, thank you.
Where you at? A seal. You have a seal? A seal? I got a sterile glove, a packing gloves. Okay. Over there? My hand is on it. Who she shot at? She came in here and went across her chest. And came out back and went into. You want air flight? Yeah, we all went in route. Okay.
And what are you talking about there when you say air flight?
Helicopter that's designed to transport people that need advanced treatment faster than ambulance. It's a helicopter that air paramedics basically.
Did you call for the helicopter, or did someone else do that? Do you know?
That individual said that they had already called one, but I called one for one as well.
You called also?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you feel that it was necessary to have a helicopter arrive?
Someone who was shot across the chest. We're quite a ways out for an ambulance in reference to where the hospital is. So.
And when you say you were quite a ways out, how far away is Bonanza Creek?
From a hospital?
Sure.
Running lights and sirens, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or more.
Okay.
32 Santa Fe, one female shot in the chest, male shot in the stomach, requesting air flight.
I heard you there saying male shot in the stomach. Is that what you said?
I'm not sure. I didn't really hear it.
Well, as you sit here today, do you recall where the other person was shot?
Somewhere in the chest.
Okay.
Or shoulder area.
Thank you.
It's okay. 32, I got just Santa Fe medics.
In your video, sir, can you identify who the set medic is?
It's a little blurry, but I believe it's this lady right. The one that's bent over with her blondish brown hair.
Is the monitor working now?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Joe, come on, Joe.
This monitor's working now.
Oh, it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know how to touch it to put it? There you go. Thank you. I appreciate you. You can go ahead and remove that.
Oh, I don't know how to remove it.
Can you show them how to remove it?
Oh, push on the menu button. Clear, it was a clear view.
Okay.
And if it's in the way, just push menu.
Do you know who these other people are that are in the room?
No, I know that that person, and somebody over here, the battalion chief, they were wearing Santa Fe county fire medic shirts. So, and they came in the vehicle in front of me.
You don't know who the other people are that are in the room?
I know the other person shot, and then Halyna Hutchins, or I didn't maybe misspelled her name or pronounce it, and then the other assistant director, and that's about it.
Okay. And you mentioned that there was a truck pulling in ahead of you.
It was a volunteer firefighter truck.
So did the first responders that we see here in this scene, did they arrive about the same time you did?
Yes.
32 Santa Fe, both approximately 140 pounds, elderly male and young female. What do you need me? No. You want a BBM? He's good. He's got broken shoulder. This is us. Repeat your information. Yeah, still be one. All right.
Officer LaFleur, tell us what you're doing now and why.
I looked over it and seen that they were getting the oxygen tank out. Noticed that they were using on a bag valve mask, which was more appropriate for that situation than the one that goes around their face. I'm just helping them, doing as much as I can to help.
So give us a little bit more information. What causes you to believe that the bag valve mask is more appropriate than the one that goes around your face? And when you say the one that goes around your face, what do you mean?
If the oxygen were to run out or they had to use manual breaths, they could use the bag. The other one is just something that's over their face.
Okay. And what made you think that the bag valve mask was more appropriate?
Nothing really. I just believe it's more, I don't know.
Officer LaFleur, are you trained in life-saving measures?
To an extent, yes.
Okay. Was it anything about your training that caused you to think that that would be more appropriate?
It's just what we've been trained with versus the one that was already on her.
Okay.
Gabby, can you just make sure nobody else comes in?
Yeah, we got here. You have ears, man?
Yes, they're in that bag. Right there at the top. Purple? Nope, at the top. Halyna.
Is anybody allowed to go with her in the helicopter? No.
Halyna, deep breath, Halyna. There you go. Deep breath, Halyna. Deep breath.
Be okay. Good girl.
There you go, good girl. Deep breath. You're doing okay. Entrance is here. Exit back here.
You guys pack it?
No.
What do you guys need?
I just need another dog tag.
Dog tag?
Something for ketchup. I think a big one.
This one?
This one? No, I had you.
Underneath the right shoulder, you got a stretcher?
Not me here, no.
Okay. Let me help you get stretcher. Stretcher.
What are you doing now?
Just trying to stay busy, help clear the way for the stretcher. The ambulance is here.
Here's priority number one. Let's clear it. All right, we got air flying around.
Not on me here. We can get Halyna?
This is Halyna Hutchins. Okay. So I got the air. Thank you. You all that up? I'm not going to good. All right, so we're going to need to get going right away.
Officer LaFleur, have additional first responders now arrived?
Yes.
Can you give us an idea of who's on set assisting now?
So it looks like more paramedics have arrived, and Lieutenant Benavides is right there.
Okay. And do you mean this gentleman here?
Yes, ma'am.
That my cursor's on? And who was Lieutenant Benavides?
He was our day shift lieutenant at the time.
Was he a supervisor?
Yes, ma'am.
I got it through and through on her. We went through and through on her, through the chest, and then you got one in the arm over there.
Everybody stop what they're doing right now. This is a fresh scene. Okay, everybody.
Whose voice is that we're hearing?
Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay, hold back.
Okay, you keep eyes on me.
All right, we got some stairs, guys. Couple stairs on the first step.
So what is your understanding about where Ms. Hutchins is being taken now?
Into the back of the ambulance.
And can you explain why is she going into the back of an ambulance rather than the helicopter?
The helicopter hasn't arrived yet, and my understanding is that they have additional medicines and equipment and measures they can take inside of an ambulance.
All right, thank you.
Disconnect here. You got it? Hey, take over that. You guys want to see this? 32 Santa Fe. What's ETA on the bird?
What did you just say?
I asked them ETA in the helicopter.
And who are you speaking to?
Santa Fe dispatch.
Do you recall how they responded?
It's been a minute since I watched this video, so.
All right.
Oh, we got the bird right here.
helicopter now arriving?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing now?
Appears I'm grabbing crime scene tape.
Why are you grabbing crime scene tape?
To start the crime scene. I don't know if anybody had told me to grab the tape yet, but I knew we needed to start one. So.
You felt that you needed to put up crime scene tape.
Yes, ma'am. Or somebody may have asked for it.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Or somebody may have asked me for it. I'm just not too sure.
Okay. And what's crime scene tape used for?
Mark the perimeter, or the inner perimeter of essentially a crime scene which they want to tape off and only allow certain people in and out.
Okay. And was that an issue in this scene?
The crime scene?
Well, cordoning off the crime scene, was that an issue here?
Yeah, it was a unique situation because of the you can't really tie crime scene tape to nothing. So I think at one point they actually used our patrol units to tie the tape around and go to the next one.
And why is it important to cordon that off?
Just for evidence purposes, allow only certain people in and out, because at this point we didn't know what was going on. So.
And were there people in that area that were not first responders?
Yes.
Approximately how many, if you recall?
I don't know. I couldn't give you a number. There was just a lot of people on the outside that I hadn't seen originally inside the church. So.
Okay. And did you know who those people were?
No.
Okay. Person here in the gray shirt?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that a first responder?
No.
So when the crime scene tape goes up, what happens to that person?
I can't recall. I haven't watched the video yet.
Hypothetically, is that person allowed to stay inside the crime scene?
No.
Okay. Who are the people that are allowed to stay inside the tape?
Medical and law for first responders.
Okay.
We need to.
This was in the middle of a shot, and I have live ordnance on the ceiling up there. It's safe.
Okay.
But it is here, right above here.
Okay.
Right there. That's
okay.
And if you get to the point you say you want me to move.
All right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Where's the bird?
It's right here.
What are you doing now?
I talked with the paramedics inside the ambulance, and they asked me where the helicopter was. I told them it was landing, and he asked them to bring the paramedics to them.
So you're bringing the paramedic from the helicopter to the ambulance?
Yes.
All right.
We got approximately 23-year-old female in the back of the ambulance right now. Gunshot underneath her right arm. Went through all the way to the back left. Can you carry this back for you, sir? Okay. You got it? This one's priority.
Guys, just get a couple IDs. I don't care whether they're IOs or not. Can you open your eyes for me?
Yep. If I can just have you guys just step over there for us, okay? Can I have you guys get over there for us? We have to gather everybody up, get everybody's names, everybody who's on scene, okay?
What are you doing now?
Just trying to think what's next. I think I'm putting one of the pilot's headgear inside the ambulance on the other side of the door.
Why are you telling those people to move?
Just to start to gather people up, because they're just standing around the church where the said incident happened.
Why didn't you do that when you initially got there?
Just went in and made sure that that people were receiving medical treatment, and then slowly go with the flow, see what it could do next.
Are you trained to take action to save lives before moving witnesses around?
Yes, ma'am.
How's it going, sir? I believe you guys will be taking this one.
In the bird then? Is she going in the bird?
No, not yet. They did IVs, getting IO, and then they're going to take in the bird.
They're coming out like a thousand.
Yeah.
They're coming up on the floor.
And whose jacket is that? Joel's? Okay.
He's got his phone. Hey, it's bloody.
Okay.
He's got his phone. He's got his other stuff in it.
Okay, well, we're going to just keep it here. So,
His phone?
Officer LaFleur, this woman who's speaking right now, she's not a police officer, right?
No.
Was she employed with the fire department?
No, she was their set medic, I'm guessing.
When you say set medic, do you mean she's the medic on the movie set?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, he was wearing it. Where's this phone at?
I don't know.
Do you have any idea why movie sets would have medical personnel on scene?
Probably for safety reasons. Someone closer than the paramedics or fire department.
For safety reasons?
Yeah.
Phone.
Does anybody have Joel's phone?
All right, gentlemen. I just need your IDs, and then have you guys step outside and wait for the investigators to get here. Okay? Cool.
Any idea who these guys are?
Just more people involved with the movie set.
Movie set employees? Is that your impression?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the props guy? Who's in charge of props?
She has green and purple hair. You can't miss her.
Okay.
I was here when it happened.
You were here when it happened? Who else was here when it happened?
The camera operator.
How many people do you think were in here when it happened?
3, maybe 4.
4? Okay. So 2 more other than you 2?
Reed, as soon as I see him, he was
Reed?
the camera operator. Reed, yes sir.
Okay, who else?
Reed Russell was here. Alec Baldwin was the actor on set that pulled the trigger.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes sir.
Where's he at? Yeah, you help me find him?
Yes, sir. They're on the cell phone with the cowboy.
Okay. How's it going, sir? So my understanding, you were in the room when the lady, when someone was shot? Okay, alrighty. Well, I know your name, so it's
Pursuant to the stipulation, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead.
Very good.
I want to make sure this is the right part. Okay.
Let me give up my lieutenant and see where we want you to hang out, okay? Yes, sir. All right, give me just a second. ALT. So I got.
So apparently I was not given the appropriate reaction. You want me to jump ahead 5 seconds now? What? I need to know what to do, or I just press play. What do I do?
Do you want to pull the trigger? Do you want me to have him sit tight or?
Yeah, you have to sit tight.
Sit tight in
I have the armor in here. This is all their stuff. I have the gun used is in there.
And I got the 2 people that were in the room.
Okay.
You have Alec Baldwin take a seat in the back of my unit or?
No, we know where he's at. We know where he is.
Yeah.
We just need to say, is he in a trailer?
No, he's right here in the gray block.
Okay. All right. So try to keep him away from everybody.
Okay.
Have him talk to anybody.
Okay. I can just have him sit. I can sit with him in my unit.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Officer LaFleur, at this point in time, what's your intention?
I was going to go back to where Mr. Baldwin was and then escort him to my unit. When I got there, I realized my unit is over here being used as a post for the crime scene.
So what did you do when you realized that?
Just had him sit where he was and had everybody just hang out there, started writing down people's names.
Okay.
Earplugs.
Alrighty.
What are these people doing?
Seems like they're talking about what happened.
Now, as a law enforcement officer, is that something that concerns you?
Yes.
And why? Why does that concern you?
They could be, one person could be telling them what they saw and mess up what they have to say what they saw. So it could essentially coerced testimony, I guess. People would say the same thing because the other person said it, rather than saying their own opinion, their own view of what they saw.
Okay.
Mr. Baldwin, who's the director on scene?
The guy that was shot.
The guy that was shot? Okay. Do you guys have a production car? Or?
There's an AD. I'm happy to stay right here and do everything.
Well, I was going to just want you to stay away from everybody and not to talk to nobody, so I was...
Wait right here.
We can wait right here and have everybody step back, or we can wait in the back of the patrolman, but I prefer to not put you there, okay?
You want water or something? I want to find props to get a cigarette.
So, why did you let Mr. Baldwin sit there instead of putting him in some vehicle and separating him from the other witnesses?
Like I said, my unit was clear across being used as a post, and just because I didn't know what we had right there, came to maintain cooperation with people involved.
Well, it sounds like you gave him an option. You let him choose, is that right?
Yeah, he wanted to stay right there, and figured if I could keep him there, I didn't see a big problem with it until later on when people were talking and whatnot.
And did you give Mr. Baldwin instructions about whether or not he could speak to people?
I did tell him to stop talking.
And did you give instructions to the other witnesses that were around?
I didn't tell them, but I told them he had to sit there and not talk to nobody.
Okay.
What do you got? You got medium?
So you got one cigar?
Yes, sir.
I'm right there. The car is Alec's vehicle. You want to put him in there?
Mr. Baldwin, is that your car? Yeah. We can wait in there.
You want me to stay here?
We can wait in your car if you want to.
I just smoked the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hang out right here then.
Still gone? They both gone?
Yeah, well, they're still working on the female. If you haven't seen the helicopter take off, then they're not gone yet.
If you know, Officer LaFleur, why hadn't the helicopter taken off yet?
I don't know exactly why, but my guess is they have to stabilize the patient before they can put him in the air.
In the air, okay. Why are you just standing there?
Just standing with Mr. Baldwin, allowing him to smoke a cigarette, making
And
sure.
why is it important for you to be standing there?
Essentially, he's detained, not free to leave, so I'm there with him.
That one there?
Sheriff's car with the gray haircut.
Okay.
Why do you have these two gentlemen standing over there that we can see? What is there something important about them?
The guy in the gray I had him stand over there because he was inside the room when I first got at the church, and the other guy in the brown apparently was in the church too. So I just wanted everybody who was in the church in one area so we could easily be found.
So you wanted everyone that was in the church in one area?
Yes, ma'am.
And are we looking at that area?
To the left of Baldwin is where majority of everybody was. Yes.
Okay. And those were the witnesses that were in the church?
From what I was told, yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Baldwin, how many people were in the room when it happened? Group?
Okay. He's the one that knows. He's asking how many people were in the room.
Let's go, sir. Deputy LaFleur. How many people were in the room at the time? Six?
Officer LaFleur, who's this gentleman who's speaking now in the blue jean shirt?
From what I was told, he was one of the other directors.
6 or 7? I don't know. Okay. So I got one here, the two that were injured, that makes 3, and then these two gentlemen, 4, 5. So who would be the other 2?
Yeah, it's Ross.
More than 6?
Supervisor, I keep track of the narrative and how we swear to judges in front.
Okay. Were you in the room?
I was at the door.
You were at the door? Can I get your ID?
Do you know whether or not the person in the jean shirt was inside the church and witnessed the incident?
I do not know.
Why don't you come over to the back of 3-2-4. I have 3-8 for the question. Oh, he was inside.
Does it appear to you that Mr. Baldwin is speaking to the other witnesses?
I think he was talking about who would know who's in the room.
Okay.
I can't really hear it. And then apparently the guy's son was working there as well.
Okay. Is this an ideal way to separate someone from witnesses?
I have to look at it, probably not, but that's what happened.
Okay, understood.
You're right at the door. Do you have an ID on you, sir? As of right now, her status is questionable. That's why we called the air light. Where were you at, sir?
I was right behind him.
Right behind him? Okay.
Yeah, I was right behind him right when it happened.
All right. So just have you guys hang out for me right here. We'll get someone to get your statement in just a second, okay?
And then we cleared the gun outside after his request, and I witnessed him clear it and saw the bullets.
Okay. So which one was?
The one that was missing, the one that fired, we don't know, but all the other ones were proper. They had most.
Officer LaFleur, does it seem to you right now that they're talking about the incident?
Seems like they're talking about the gun that was used in the incident.
All right.
They were low complaints.
Officer, do you know what this conversation is about that we're watching right here?
Something about a shake test. I don't know. Maybe the rounds, dummy rounds, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not too entirely sure.
Do you agree with me that, well, was Mr. Baldwin supposed to be talking about the incident?
No, ma'am.
Does he appear to be doing it anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? I mean, I'm worried about her. Yeah, well, me as well, but just stable now. You get her in there, get back to the shoulder. His, where both of them took it on the shoulder. Hers came out the other shoulder, which is why it's not right. His, the shoulder was so shattered. There was basically a lot of people playing, because I think it was based on the sound, how much ringing went out. I think it was a half.
Officer, are they still talking about the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason that you didn't stop them since you told them not to?
I think as time goes on, I tell them to stop.
Okay. You were in the room? Okay. Get your ID, sir.
You see this gentleman over here on the left?
Yes, ma'am.
Any reason to believe he was inside the room at the time?
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point.
Okay.
Were you in the room too, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
She was breathing. She had third lungs. But he thinks he's got they're in the breath. It's not severe.
Where did he go?
He took it to the right shoulder. His right shoulder blade stopped it, but they're going to set the head.
Where did she get after that?
They take it as soon as they're allowed to. So they'll stabilize both, and then just once the sheriff says you're good to go, they'll let them go.
So she basically they're trying to stabilize her vital signs enough for the flight and administer any kind of narcotics or anything they need. Blood thinners, that may be. Then they'll load her up in the helicopter and they'll fly her there. I believe the other ambulance is on the other side, and he seems to be doing better than she was, so they might drive him in an ambulance.
I heard him rave off the other car, so. Both of them took it in the shoulder.
I was up Joel actually seen that when I was looking at it. Yeah, I came back in the queue. I was hoping I seen that. I was asking if it was all right. Good hearing.
Your name is Trauma Hospital.
Let's go to St. Vincent's. They're both trauma ones. So.
Thanks for the information. I'm curious.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, no problem.
Officer LaFleur, have more first responders now arrived?
Off to your right, you can see. There it is. Off to your right, you can see more patrol units showing up. This deputy showed up, but this corporal had been there for a minute.
And approximately how long have you now been on scene?
According to my body cam, a little over 25 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Corporal. I got 7 people there in the room when it happened. All their IDs. So. Okay.
Get it all brought down. I'll show you what you can operate.
It's okay.
At that point in time, what was your understanding of how many people were in the room and witnessed it?
I believe I said 7.
Okay. Do you know whether or not that turned out to be true?
I think there was actually more. I wrote all the people who said that they were in the room in my report.
Okay.
Hey, sir. And I'm just hanging out with him because he's the one who pulled the triggers.
Okay. Yeah, he sorry, I was sick. I set things up a while ago.
You got a notepad? Ready? All right. Do you have a notepad?
LaFleur, at this point in time, I know he's no longer in the frame, but the gentleman in the blue denim shirt, do you know whether or not he was in the room at the time?
I don't recall if he was in the room or not.
Okay.
I know there was some director or whatnot there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my Yeah, playing start. Yeah, I know. It came off when I was given trying to pack wounds. Yeah. Okay.
Officer LaFleur, does it look like Mr. Baldwin is speaking to a potential witness?
He just looked like he's talking to the guy who says his name is one of the directors, yes.
Okay. Is that what you had in mind when you asked Mr. Baldwin not to speak to anyone?
No.
Do you know what they're talking about?
I couldn't hear what they were talking about. I did hear him ask him what cigarettes he was smoking and if he could have one. So.
Oh, geez, all right. No, because I'm going to be writing quite a bit. Everybody's in the room. I mean, I have a phone on me. Yeah. Sorry, I'll just, yeah, all right now.
Do you see the gentleman in the denim shirt gesturing? You want me to back it up?
Yeah, which one? Are we talking about this gentleman?
Yeah. Do you know what he's gesturing?
No, it looks like he picks up his hand. Now that you play it back, it looks like he's shaking his hand.
And had you seen him do that previously?
No, not until just now.
I thought you testified earlier about a shake test.
The gentleman was talking about a shake test.
Okay.
But I have not seen the director do it until reviewing the footage now.
Okay.
My eyes aren't always exactly where the body cam's pointed, so.
Absolutely. When you tell people not to talk about the incident, do you have an expectation that they'll follow your instructions?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it look like they're following your instructions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, I'm going to stop the video there. What else did you do on scene that day?
I helped essentially just wait with other witnesses, I guess, or people that wanted to give a statement or they needed a statement from at a different location. It was their base camp, is what they called it.
So you needed to take statements from people that were at another location? Is that what you said?
No, we took people from essentially where we had them, and they took them down to their base camp, and that's where they started interviews.
And the people that you take to base camp, are those the same people that we see here in the video?
I believe so. Those people, and I don't know how many people they ended up interviewing.
Did at any point in time did Mr. Baldwin tell you that he didn't pull the trigger of the gun?
I believe he told me he was holding the gun. I believe in the beginning when I was leaving the church, one of the guys said that Baldwin had pulled the trigger. So just off of what was told.
And I know that this sounds ridiculous, but we have to follow some jurisdictional rules. Do you see Mr. Baldwin in this frame here?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out, please? And do you see that same gentleman in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out, please?
He's sitting in the middle with the glasses.
Okay. Anything else that you did of import that you can think of that you think the jury should hear about?
I think that's about it.
How long were you on scene, if you recall?
From when I got there, it was, I don't know, about 10 hours maybe or so. I was there until dark.
You were there for 10 hours?
Yeah, until they were done interviewing people.
Is that typical?
It is if that's what they need to be done. So.
Okay. Your Honor, just for the record, we would ask that the record reflect that Officer LaFleur has identified the defendant.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
May I proceed?
Sorry, Mr. Spicer.
Oh, sorry.
Get out of your way.
Always find the recording officer. May I proceed?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. When you got to the scene, Mr. Baldwin walked up to you and said, I was holding a gun. He blurted it out, right?
Yes.
And in fact, he was very shocked, if you could picture Alec Baldwin in a pale state, very unsure of himself. You could say an actor out of character. Fair?
Sure.
Object to the formal question. It is Mr. Spyro testifying in the question. Okay. May we approach?
When you saw Mr. Baldwin, he looked very shocked. If you could picture Mr. Baldwin in a pale state, like unsure of himself, you could say an actor out of character. Is that a fair description?
Sure.
And he said to you, I'm here, whatever you want to do, right?
Yes.
He said to you at one point, where should I go, right?
Yes.
And he also pointed out to you who the director was on scene who was hit in the shoulder, right?
I believe so. Yes. I inquired about him.
And he also asked you how she was doing, right? Meaning Miss Hutchins, right?
Yes.
I don't remember you being asked about that in direct, were you?
And you mean asked by that by the state?
Yeah.
Objection relevance?
Overruled.
So I want to take a step back. The dispatch that came over to your radio, sir, before you got to the scene was a dispatch for an accidental shooting by a pop gun, correct?
I believe that's what was told to me, yes.
Okay. And you've testified to that previously, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the dispatch report, you know that you received that wording, accidental discharge, several times, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So I want to ask you, how come when you described it today in court, how come you didn't include the word accident when you testified before this jury?
I'm not one to say if it was an accident or not. Just there to initially respond to it, and then the detectives determine whether or not it was an accident.
Well, sure, but every other time you've been asked about this, you've said it was an accident. And now today at the trial of Alec Baldwin, when you're talking to this jury, you left that word out. Isn't that true?
Not intentionally, no.
Did you meet with the prosecutors before you testified here today?
Just briefly in the room outside, for them to tell me who was in order of what witness.
You've discussed your testimony previously with Ms. Morrissey, correct? Before today?
Just in a pre-trial interview, yes.
We've talked about your lapel that was on. It's true, right, that the lapel is actually mandatory?
Yes.
Right? And so they came to the officers, passed a law, and told you had to wear your lapel, right?
Yes.
And the way it works is it secures all of these statements, and when you're done wearing it for the day, you go back to the station, you log it in, and then it exists, right?
Essentially, yeah, but it's more complex than that. It uploads on itself.
Oh, it self-uploads, so that it maintains itself?
Yes.
Okay. And you then talked a little bit about the security of the scene, and you talked about crime scene tape going up, right?
Yes.
But as you just told this jury, at the time, you don't know whether this is an accident or not, right?
Yes.
It's not like a crime scene tape is some evidence of a crime, right?
Whether it was an accident or a crime scene is still essential.
And you've been very candid that you made some mistakes at the scene, right?
Yes.
And that you've learned since then about some of these mistakes, right?
Yes.
You've said hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yes.
And, you can Monday morning quarterback decisions, but you made them in the field, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've said that based on your training and experience, you know that if witnesses are left to speak to each other, they can taint each other's memories, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that's incidental and accidental, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's purposeful, right?
Depends on who's there, yes.
Well, if you were with somebody and somebody was talking to you about the 911 call, right? And they kept saying to you over and over, it wasn't an accident, it wasn't an accident, and then you testify and you leave out the word accident, that could be an example of taint, couldn't it?
Sure.
And also, non-witnesses can taint people's memories too. You agree with that?
I guess.
Well, at one point in your testimony previously, you had said that there was a lawyer on the scene that was talking to some of the people that were on the scene.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And if that lawyer told somebody on the scene, I think your understanding is that could have tainted their view of their memory, right?
Essentially, yes.
Mr. Baldwin never asked to speak to that lawyer, did he?
Not to my recollection.
And then you went on and you said, that you had told Mr. Baldwin not to speak to the other witnesses. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
And I think you were asked approximately 5 times why Mr. Baldwin was disobeying your orders. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But in the lapel video that we just saw, you're not going up to Mr. Baldwin or these witnesses, but get out of here. Get out of here. I'm an officer. You got to separate. You don't do that, right?
Nope.
And also in that video, you can see a lot of these people are coming over to Mr. Baldwin, right?
Yes.
One of them comes over and shakes his hand, right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that in all of your experience? Somebody commit a homicide, and everybody and all the witnesses are on the scene, circling around the person, shaking his hand and talking about what happened. Have you ever seen that in your entire career?
No.
And then you went on to say, well, you didn't put him in the cruiser. You didn't put him in the cruiser because your cruiser was being used. Was I guess the reason that you gave? Did I understand that right?
My patrol unit was being actively used as a post on the other side of the field for a crime scene.
When you say a post, you mean like you go somewhere else and you put the tape around it? Is that?
The side mirror was wrapped around with crime scene tape.
Uh-huh. You mean there were also another dozen officers on the scene that day that had police cars that they wanted to put Mr. Baldwin in at any point, right?
Yep.
Okay. And in fact, Mr. Baldwin later on drives himself to the precinct and goes and speaks to the police, right?
I'm not too sure how he got there, but he did get there.
Well, he wasn't under arrest, right?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And so you use this word detained. When Ms. Morrissey asked you, were you detaining Mr. Baldwin? Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Isn't it true that even today, years later, no police officer has ever arrested Mr. Baldwin or detained him in a police car? True?
I don't know.
The police department, the Santa Fe Police Department, has never arrested Mr. Baldwin.
Not the
That's
Santa Fe
it
Police
from a
Department.
question asked and answered.
And one of the things that you do as an officer on the scene is you observe demeanor, right?
Yes.
And you spent 10 hours on the scene, I think I heard you say, right?
Yes.
You got to see the people of Rusk that day live, right?
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that you took it as a way how everybody was acting and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
I wouldn't say there was no intention. I don't know the individual's intentions, but his demeanor was sad, upset.
Okay, well, it's not just his demeanor being sad and upset, right? Okay, we'll move that to the side. And I understand you're not a mind reader, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All you can do is look at the people and look at how they're interacting and make your own judgments, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you do that as a police officer to try to figure out how to interact with the scene. True?
Yes.
Okay, and isn't it true that the way you took it, how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
Again, the wording you're using, I wouldn't say I
Okay.
had any clue of whose intention was what, but he was sad and upset.
Okay, well, let's play. I'm going to play his statement to that fact. Can you repeat that up, please? If that's okay with the court. He's saying he didn't say that he did. I'm going to impeach him. Well, you want to clarify that? Yeah. Okay. Are you claiming that you didn't say that?
Rephrase what you said?
Sure. Dispatch said it was an accidental shooting by prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say,
Again, I wouldn't say I knew what his intention was.
I understand that. What I'm asking you now, okay, is did you in fact say those words that I just asked you?
At what time? The Gutierrez or PTI?
Yes.
I may have.
Okay. You don't deny saying that?
No.
One more time, I'm just going to ask you, did you say that statement that I read?
If you're reading a statement and it says my name next to it, then I more likely said it. I just don't recall when.
And one of the other things that happened that day that I don't think we talked about is you spoke to a witness who told you that a woman named Sarah was crying and shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in there.
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking the witness if he had that information.
He's making the statement, the hearsay statement is coming in.
Do you know whether anybody at the scene was, before you got there, shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in there?
I don't know.
Okay. If we could refresh the witness with his help, and I would ask that can I put it up on just his screen?
Okay.
I don't know if you can do that.
I would object because that's not proper refreshment. We don't refresh in front of the jurors. That's my objection.
What do you mean?
Well, if we're refreshing,
We're going to take a lunch break real quick, and we're going to be back at 1 o'clock, okay? Please don't talk among yourselves. Corrected otherwise. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can we turn the volume up?
You may publish.
This is 911. What's the location of your emergency? We need an ambulance out at Bonanza Creek Ranch right now. We've had 2 people shot on a movie set accidentally. You said someone was shot? 2 people accidentally with gunshots out on movie set, Bonanza Creek Ranch.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll connect you with medical dispatcher. Don't hang up. Santa Fe Fire and EMS, what's the location of the emergency?
Bonanza Creek Ranch has had 2 people accidentally shot on a movie set by a prop gun. We need help immediately. Okay? This fucking AG that yelled at me at lunch because asking about revisions. This motherfucker. Did you see him lean over my table and yell at me? He's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible for what's happening.
Now, Mimi?
No. I'm a script supervisor.
How many people are injured?
2 that I know of. I was sitting, we were rehearsing, and it went off, and I ran out.
You heard some language, and then that the first assistant, was supposed to check the gun. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear anybody on the 911 call mention Alec Baldwin at all?
No.
I asked you before we broke about a prior statement. I asked you if you made a prior statement that we talked about a few times, so I'm just going to approach quickly and refresh your recollection. And this is November 30th, 2023, your pretrial interview, Officer LaFleur, and I'm just going to ask you to read down here.
Your Honor, and again, Mr. Spiro is testifying as he's handing it to the witness.
Just identify what the document is and then move away.
Does that refresh your recollection, sir?
Yes.
So and I'm just going to take this back. It is fair that you said when asked that it came in as like it appeared to be, and what the dispatch said, it was an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there. That there was
Objection, Your Honor.
The way he was.
Objection, Your Honor.
As I was walking back, my question was, did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. And so is it in fact true that in your earlier statement you said, and it came in like and appeared to be what the dispatch said it was, an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any, I took it as the way how everybody was acting and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say,
Yes.
You made that statement, correct?
Yes.
And I asked you also whether you remembered receiving any information as to the ammunition, whether they be prop or otherwise, that was at the scene. If you recalled Duran Curtin, one of the individuals in the church, giving you information. Do you remember that?
There's a lot of people in the church giving information. Can you identify which one it was?
Sure. I asked you, do you remember whether or not somebody told you that Sarah was shaking and going through the book?
Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay. This is hearsay coming in. Can we approach? I don't know what to do.
As I was saying, officer, did you learn at the scene whether or not Sarah was going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got there? Did you learn that information? Do you recall?
I don't remember. If you could refresh my memory to which part, which person said what.
Sure. And I'm just going to approach the witness and show him his lapel recording.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
It appears it's a recording type out of what my body-worn camera recorded, yes.
Okay. And when you learned this information, did you do anything with that information?
To be honest, it's the first time I've heard it in that detail. Body cameras pick up more audio than our ears do.
Okay. You also testified that the gentleman in the orange jacket came up to you and said, Alec pulled the trigger, or words to that effect. Remember that testimony?
That's what he said, yes.
Yeah, and you know that witness has stated absolutely he did not see him pull the trigger, correct?
At that point, I didn't know if he said that or not.
Okay. And then I just want to ask you about one other thing we talked about this morning. Was I asked you about your testimony on direct that Mr. Baldwin was effectively disobeying police orders. Do you remember that testimony on direct?
Yes.
And over the lunch break, have you had a chance to reflect on that testimony?
Sure.
Okay. Do you think it's a fair, honestly, sir, a fair characterization to this jury to say that Mr. Baldwin was disobeying police orders at the scene?
He was given an order, but I didn't repeatedly tell him not to. I was on my bad.
And so don't you think that given what actually happened at the scene, that really, in all fairness to Mr. Baldwin, he wasn't really disobeying police orders, was he, sir?
To an extent, yes.
You were the first officer on scene.
Yes.
And you did your best, no question, right?
Yes.
And you're aware, right, because a lot of this testimony I'm not going to get into, you're aware as you sit here that the issue of Ms. Hutchins passing is not a contested issue by the defense. You know that?
Yes.
Okay. And you did sort of corral the witnesses, I think you said, right?
Yes.
And then after you did that, you turned them over, in essence, to the lead detective, Detective Pinot.
Yes.
Okay. And he interviewed those witnesses, right?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know if he's testifying for the state in this case?
Objection.
I don't know.
You want to move on or withdraw?
Sure.
Ignore the question and the non-answer, or if we got one.
Do you know how the live bullet got on set?
I do not.
Do you know why the armorer loaded the live bullet into the pop gun?
I do not.
Do you know why the first assistant director, head of safety, failed the detective?
I do not.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Cross-exam. adjourn.
Can I use the Elmo, please? You know what? Let me do this. Where is the defense exhibit DX?
That's H, you mean. This is H, yes.
Okay.
I just have to read that one.
Okay.
It should be labeled on that.
There are 3 copies?
Yes, they just gave us extra copies.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, let's back up a little bit, okay? Did I speak with you this morning about the testimony you were going to give?
No, ma'am.
Did Ms. Johnson speak to you this morning about the testimony you were going to give?
No, ma'am.
When was the last time someone from the prosecution spoke to you about the testimony you were going to give today?
I don't believe we've talked about the testimony I was going to give, but just about the pre-trial interview.
So you mentioned a pretrial interview. So let me ask you, do you recall when your pretrial interview was? Would it refresh your memory if I showed you a copy of the transcript?
Yes.
May I? Let me know. Officer, when was your pretrial interview?
In May.
And do you recall who was there?
Somebody from the defense and somebody from the state.
Someone from the defense?
Yeah. It was a female.
Okay, so just to be clear, at your pretrial interview, it wasn't the state just speaking to you. The defense attorneys were there also, right?
Yes.
And they got to ask you almost all the questions, isn't that right?
Yes, if I can recall, the state didn't have anything to ask.
So the prosecutors didn't ask you a single question?
Not that I can remember, no.
Do you agree with the defense attorney's assertion this morning that somehow you were coached to give your testimony?
I would object to that characterization, but he is.
Can you rephrase that question?
He's objecting to the word assertion, I believe, so why don't you rephrase it?
Did Mr. Spyro indicate to you on cross-examination did he attempt to imply that the prosecution had told you how to testify?
Essentially, it sounded like he asked if I was coached into my testimony.
But the prosecutors haven't actually told you what to testify to, have they?
No, ma'am.
You were asked several questions on cross-examination about the statement that you made that it didn't seem like Mr. Baldwin intended to commit the act. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
Do you know what the crime that Mr. Baldwin is charged with?
I believe involuntary manslaughter.
Is involuntary manslaughter an intentional homicide?
No, ma'am. Not to my recollection of the New Mexico State statute.
Are there criminal offenses that are intentional homicides?
Yes.
But that's not what Mr. Baldwin's charged with, right?
No.
Officer LaFleur, when you are speaking to a witness, when you were in fact speaking to witnesses at the scene, you collected their driver's licenses, didn't you?
Yes.
And what do you do when you collect the driver's license? Do you run it through a system?
I put it in our computer system, run it by driver's license in the state. It's easier than name and date of birth.
Is Defendant's Exhibit H, does that contain information about their driver's licenses?
Yes. It appeared that it was a page that showed each person's license being inputted and the return that came back from RACC or NCIC.
So I'm going to go ahead and show you what is page 3 of that. What do we call it? Is it a CAD report?
Yes.
So let me back up for a moment. What does CAD stand for? Do you remember?
I don't know the exact exactly what it stands for, no, but it's a reporting system that we use. The dispatches us through. And
so this is this a dispatch log?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I know that's getting smaller and smaller, but I'm not sure what to do.
If you want to help, yeah.
Do you see, no, it's not quite there yet. At the top of the page, do you see number 16? And there's a 16 and then there's a parentheses?
Yes.
What does it say?
Posted speed limit and actual.
What does posted speed limit and actual have to do with this incident?
I'm not too sure. It looks like the individual who ran it, their name, I don't know who that is.
Well, that's okay. Does this have anything to do with the incident involving Ms. Hutchins?
No.
So I want to take you down here to number 5, parentheses. What does that say?
It says non-commercial class, code D.
What is that person talking about? Does it have anything to do with the shooting of Ms. Hutchins?
No, that's the return. It came back for a driver's license, it appears.
That's the return that came back for a driver's license? Is that what you said?
That's what it appears like, yes.
Let's go down to number 10. Do you see that?
Yes.
What does that say?
Accident quantity.
Keep reading.
3, withdrawal. It looks like it's going to try to say withdrawal.
Does that have anything to do with this incident?
No.
And Luke, I want you to look down here at number 21. Do you see that?
Yes.
What does that say?
Of alcohol or drugs.
That you're aware of? Does that have anything to do with this incident?
No.
Let's jump down to number 26. 6. What does that say?
Objection, relevance, cumulative.
Go ahead, sir.
Says drinking and driving at .0.
Did you read it all?
Yeah, per se, I think that's what it's saying at the beginning. Dash drinking and driving at .0. And then the next line is the blood alcohol content, BAC.
Were you dispatched to a DWI?
No.
Let's have a look at page 5. Do you see up here number 23?
23 is cut off on my screen.
Oops.
Yeah. Of alcohol or drugs.
Was this an incident that was related to alcohol or drugs?
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's jump down here, if you would, to number 10. Do you see that?
It says accidental quantity, 0, and then withdrawal.
Does that have anything to do with this incident?
No.
Why are we seeing that language?
It's what the NCIC return gives our CAD. As you can see, it's all within the same 1/10 of a second. So it's generated by the computer system itself.
So I've now turned the page to page 6. Do you see 10 there where it says 10 parentheses?
Accidental quantity, 0 withdrawal.
Is the word accident reflective of Ms. Hutchins being shot on accident?
No.
Is the word accident in that report? Does it appear anywhere where it's talking about what happened to Ms. Hutchins?
No, right here it's just a bunch of returns.
Thank you for your time, sir. I don't have anything further.
All right, thank you. This witness is excused. Next witness. Under penalty of law that the testimony you'll give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right, have a seat talking to the microphone.
May I proceed? Good afternoon, Mr. Benavides. Would you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Yes, my name's Timoteo Benavides.
And sir, on October 21st, 2021, how were you employed?
I was employed by the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant.
And are you still employed with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
I am not.
And why not?
I retired doing 20 years of law enforcement for Santa Fe County.
And what was your rank when you retired?
Lieutenant.
And on October 21st, 2021, were you working?
Yes, I was.
And what were your duties that day?
That day I was day shift commander, which entails taking care of Santa Fe County during the day, and 7 deputies we had.
How large is Santa Fe County?
It's pretty big. It goes from the city limits of Espanola to all the way to I-40 down in Edgewood, and to Pecos, and then to the off-ramp to Cochiti.
You said you were commander that day. What does that mean? What duties did that entail?
I'm pretty much in charge of the county on what happens, and responsible for the deputies that are working.
On that day at approximately 1:48, did you receive a dispatch to a call?
Yes, I did.
And what was that call for service about?
The call of service was on a movie set for an accidental shooting.
Okay. And where was that located?
It was located at the Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch.
Okay. And is that in Santa Fe County?
It is in Santa Fe County.
Okay. In New Mexico?
In the state of New Mexico, yes.
Okay. And do you recall approximately what time you arrived?
I was dispatched about 1:50. I didn't arrive till almost I think it was like 2:20.
Okay. Why did it take you a while to arrive?
I was pretty much on the other side of the county when the dispatch call came in.
Now, when you arrived, do you recall what you observed?
When I arrived, there was a security guard at the gate, and he told us that he was gonna drive us into the movie set where the incident happened.
Were other deputies already there when you arrived?
Deputy LaFleur was already on scene from what I heard over the radio, and I had, at the time, Corporal Alderete was in front of me, literally in front of me, when we got there.
Were there other first responders present when you arrived on scene?
Yes, there was. There was already medics on scene when I arrived.
Were you wearing your police uniform?
I was in full uniform, displaying my badge of office at the time.
And were you equipped with a lapel camera?
Yes, I was.
Are you familiar, or were you familiar with how your lapel camera works?
Yes.
And how does it work?
As soon as I activated my lights and sirens, my lapel goes off right away, and it starts recording from as soon as I activated my lights and sirens.
And how long does your lapel camera record?
It records until I stop it, or until it runs out of battery.
And how does your video that's captured on your lapel camera uploaded? How's it preserved? Do you know?
Yes. At the time it's uploaded, we, as deputies, we don't have no control how it's. We show up to the sheriff's office and it downloads automatically from our. I take off my lapel, I put it in a docking station in my unit, and everything downloads into the sheriff's office room servers.
Okay. On October 21st, 2021, did your lapel camera capture what you observed when you arrived on scene at the Bonanza Creek Ranch?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And what did you do with your lapel camera after you left the scene?
When I completed my duties on that scene, I put it in my docking station, which is also a charger, and I proceeded to the sheriff's office so it could download.
Now, have you viewed your lapel camera video since October 21st, 2021?
Yes, I have.
And in fact, did you view a portion of it this morning before you testified?
Yes, I did.
And did I show you State's Exhibit number 5 earlier this morning?
Yes, you did.
And what was that?
It was pretty much the beginning from when I activated my lights and sirens to the end.
What was it, the entire thing to the end, or was it part of it?
It was part of it. It was not the entire thing because I did stop it several times to talk to commanders and deputies, and then I reactivated it.
And how long is your entire lapel camera video?
I arrived on scene about 2:20, and I didn't leave till almost 8:30 that night.
So State's Exhibit 1 is just a portion of your lapel camera?
That is correct.
Excuse me, video?
Yes.
Okay. After you viewed it, did you notice if it's been modified or changed in any way?
It has not.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move into evidence State's Exhibit number 5.
No objection, Your Honor.
State 5 is admitted and they covered.
Thank you.
Sorry, Major. What's going on? They said that they...
Let me pause it there. Is that your lapel camera video, Mr. Benavides?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to forward it. How long does it take you to drive? How long are we going to watch you driving?
It's about 20 minutes.
Okay. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit here to about 17 minutes, or excuse me, 15 minutes.
Going to be en route to Bonanza Creek.
Hey, I got one shot in the chest, one shot in the chest, and one shot in the chest, and another shot in the stomach. So you have 2 victims up there? 2 victims.
Are you still driving?
I am still driving, yes.
Now, I've fast forwarded to 15 minutes and 59 seconds. Have you arrived on scene yet?
Yes, I could see the makeshift church right in front of me.
We're going to secure the film and all the crew members.
Why did you say you're going to secure the film and all the crew members?
Pretty much common sense. I'm not on scene yet, but I'm trying to picture everything that was going on, and maybe the film caught it. I don't know.
Can you describe for the members of the jury, when you're pulling up to this church, what does it look like? How many people are you actually seeing?
So this scene was probably the biggest scene I've been to. There was people everywhere. I had medics running in and out. From what I saw from the back of the church, there was medics going to their vehicles, grabbing items, and there was just people everywhere. As in people, I mean, I couldn't distinguish who it was. It was actors, it was film personnel, bystander. I didn't know, but there was a lot of people there.
Do you know if some of those, if those people were people who worked on the set?
Yes, you could distinguish them. They had a lot of sunblock on, a lot of hats, big hats for the sun. So that's pretty much how I noticed that.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. I have like 200 people out here, so.
Alrighty, I'll see if.
Yes, I already called for them. All right.
What's happening at this, excuse me, at this point?
So as soon as I walked into the makeshift church, Deputy LaFleur started to let me know what was happening and what was going on with the victims.
How would you describe this scene as soon as you walked into the church?
The medics were doing a wonderful job. They had separated each other and they were working on the victims.
How many victims did you have?
I saw 2 on the ground.
Okay.
Corporal, I need you to know who's in charge. Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene.
Yeah. Why did you say this was a crime scene?
Because we had 2 victims, Halyna and Joel, fighting for their life on the ground. And it wasn't natural. This is a movie set, and it was now a crime scene. We had to figure out what happened.
So what directives are you giving the other deputies?
So I'm letting them know I let Corporal Aldaleta know to have whoever's in charge have everybody stop what they're doing, because there was no more filming. If they were, I did not know. And so we could try to control what we could.
Everybody stops what they're doing, and I need the film secured by whoever's in charge of the...
Electric back, can I pull these guys down, get them the hell with a helicopter?
Yes, please. 1, 2, 3.
Did you ask for anything else when you were out there speaking with those people?
Yes, I asked who was in charge to help me out, and then I asked Corporal Aldaleta to start taking pictures.
Did you ask for anything else?
Not that I recall.
Hey, I need pictures right away. Where's the props guy?
Why did you ask for pictures?
I have my lapel on, which captures a lot, but the pictures would capture detailed that's on the floor that you can't really tell from my lapel.
And you just said that you asked for the props guy. Why did you ask for the props guy?
I work security for in the sheriff's office at movie sets. The props guy is the guy that does the little stuff with sound effects or whatever. But I asked for the props guy because I needed to find out where the gun was.
Why was it important to find out where the gun was?
Because I didn't need the gun going off or getting used again on somebody else.
Okay. And did you find the gun?
I had somebody. Yes, I did find the gun.
Okay. Where did you find the gun?
Hannah Gutierrez had the gun walking out of the movie set.
And who did you understand Hannah Gutierrez to be?
She was the armorer.
Props guy out.
I'm sorry, no, you have a job? We need to make sure that they...
Yes, they're taking care of business.
Yes.
What else do you need there, Chief?
Where's my radio? It's just here. Here, thank you.
Cleared the gun.
Where is it?
You got the cleared gun?
I'm already covered. It's all right.
Where is it?
Where are you going at this point?
I'm being directed by a gentleman, I assume who is a person in charge, to look for the gun.
And did you find it?
I did not find it there.
There's one there and there's one there. That's none of them? That's not. Okay. I need to know where it is.
What is it that you are pointing at with this gentleman here?
There was guns laid in the open on the cart, on this gray cart.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States Exhibits number 7 and number 8. May I approach, Your Honor?
No objection, Your Honor. No objection.
All right, that's 7 and 8.
Yes, Your Honor. I would move into evidence 7 and 8, but I'll publish it in a second. I'm going to finish the video.
States 7 and 8 are
Okay.
and you can publish them.
Thank you, Your Honor. Where are you going now?
Trying to look for the armor.
You're in charge, man. I need to know where the gun's at right now.
Bro, Armor, I need to know where the guns are at. There, go ahead right there.
How do I know this is a gun?
That's the gun.
Okay. Come with me.
Who is that?
That is Hannah Gutierrez.
And who is she?
She's the armor on set.
And did you obtain anything from her?
Yes, I did. I obtained a revolver she was carrying.
And what did you understand that revolver to be?
To be the revolver that shot the projectile into these two victims.
May I have a minute, Your Honor, to bring up Exhibit 6? All right. State's Exhibit 6 is going to be handed to you, Mr. Benavides. If you could put on some gloves and just open it and let us know if you recognize what's in State's Exhibit 6.
Counsel?
Yes, sir.
I have a question from one of the witnesses that cannot see the time.
Let's go back, Mr. Benavides, if we could. Do you recall approximately what time it was when you actually arrived on scene?
It was 2:20, 2:30.
Do you have a specific recollection of the time or not?
I do not.
Would reviewing the CAD refresh your memory?
Yes, it would.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you what's been marked as defendants and admitted DX8T.
For the record, I think it's now H.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, it's a dispatch log.
Well, if you could review it and let us know if your memory is refreshed after you review it, and I'll take that document back from you.
Yes.
Your memory is refreshed?
Yes.
All right, if I can take that one. What time did you arrive on scene?
2:20.
All right, and would your lapel camera video be at 2:20, start like at 2:20 when you arrive on scene?
It started when I first activated my lights and sirens, so when I was dispatched at 1:49.
Right, but when you arrive on scene, would it be 2:20 in the afternoon?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, so even though we can't see the actual time on your lapel cam, is this your lapel cam?
Yes, it is.
And would this accurately reflect what you are seeing around 2:20 or so in the afternoon?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
How do I know this is a gun? That's the gun. Okay.
And so you had testified earlier that this woman with the multicolored hair was the armorer, and she gave you the gun.
Yes.
If you could look at State's Exhibit 6 and I'll ask you if you recognize what's in the box.
Okay.
Do you recognize State's Exhibit 6?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is the gun that Halyna Gutierrez, the armorer, handed to me.
Now, what did you do with this gun once she handed it to you?
I took custody of it from her, and I walked it over to the passenger side of my unit, my marked sheriff's unit.
What did you do with it once you walked over to the marked sheriff's unit?
I put it in the front seat, and I locked it.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 13.
No objection.
I'm losing track a little. So you just entered.
I haven't entered 6 because we have other witnesses through whom we're going to.
Okay, so 7, and I thought you had 7 and 8 that
7
you were going
and 8, yes, sir. Haven't published yet.
Okay, but okay, those were admitted. Now you're doing 13.
13.
Okay.
Do you recognize what's on the screen there, Mr. Benavides?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is a gun that's in front of me, and this is the gun that the armor Halyna Gutierrez handed me.
You testified that you put it in the front seat of your patrol vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Why did you put it there?
It was the most secure spot that I had control over at the time.
Okay. And what did you do to ensure that this gun was secured?
I locked the front, I locked my unit, and nobody entered it except for me because I'm the only one with the key.
Where was State's Exhibit number 13 taken? Where was this gun when this photo was taken?
From the passenger side of my unit.
Okay. Why did you not stick it in an evidence bag?
It was so fluid, and the scene was so active. I put it there. It was secure there. That's where it stayed.
Okay. Did you do anything with this gun? Open the cylinder, or anything at all once you received it from Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes. As soon as I got to my unit, I opened up the cylinder, and I made it safe for myself and whoever else was going to handle it.
And when you say you made it safe, what do you mean by that?
I opened up the cylinder on this wheel gun, and I ran the wheel to make sure there was no rounds in it.
And were there any rounds in it?
There was no rounds in it.
Did you do anything else to the gun?
I did not.
Okay. To your knowledge, did anybody else have access to this gun once you put it in your patrol vehicle?
No.
So what is the next thing you did after you secured the gun in your patrol car?
What I remember is I was talking to the armor, Hannah. I put her in back of my unit, and I told her she wasn't under arrest. I kept the door open because the detective needed to speak to her.
Okay. Now, did anybody have access to the front part of your patrol car?
They did not.
Okay. While this gun was in your possession, did you do anything, or to your knowledge, did anybody else touch it or do anything to it?
No.
Does Exhibit 13 accurately reflect the condition of the gun when it was handed to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Did you secure any other items of evidence?
I did. I secured 2 boxes of ammunition.
And where did you find those?
They were on a gray cart, which Hannah directed me to, that they were on a gray cart that were used for this gun.
All right, let's go to State's Exhibit 7, which has already been admitted.
All right, you may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you recognize that?
Yes, it is the gray cart that Hannah directed that the ammunition was on.
And where was that cart when you were directed to it?
My first lapel video where that gentleman directed me, walked me over, and he said none of these guns were used. This was the cart that he was talking about.
Okay. And where was this photo taken? Where was the cart when this photo was taken?
It looks like it was taken in front of my unit, in front of my in-car camera.
Okay. So was that cart moved from where you initially saw it to in front of your car?
Yes, it was.
Why?
Hannah had she directed that the ammunition was there, so there was a gentleman that offers his services because I was dealing with Hannah, and I watched him bring the cart from where it was to me.
Does State's Exhibit 7 accurately represent the cart in the condition that you saw it when you first were directed to it?
Yes, it is.
And why did you move it to the front of your patrol car?
It was evidence. Hannah said that ammunition was on it used in the church.
Is there another reason why you moved it to the front of your patrol car?
To keep an eye on it, to make sure nothing was taken, nothing was put in.
Was anything capturing what would happen if anybody got close to this cart?
To where it is right now, they would have captured from my in-car camera.
Should you have a dash camera?
Yes, a dash camera, yes.
So was the dash camera running and filming this cart as it's sitting there in front of your patrol car?
Yes, it was.
To your knowledge, did anybody come over to this cart and remove any items?
No, not when it was sitting there, no.
Okay. Why not collect the items instead of moving, or why not collect the items before you moved it?
I'm in a patrol car. I'm not in a van or anything that would fit the whole cart in a hole to secure it.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 8, which has already been admitted. May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a close-up of the cart?
Yes, it is.
What are we looking at? What was on the cart? What did you observe?
Loose ammunition, gun belts, a gun, various other items.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 9. Counsel, did you want to see it?
No objection.
May I, Your Honor, I move into evidence State's Exhibit 9.
Yes.
May I publish?
Yes.
Do you recognize that? It's State's Exhibit 9.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is a wheel gun.
Okay. Is there anything else that you see there?
There's car keys, there's loose ammunition.
Okay. And is this on the cart that we just saw?
Yes, it is.
And again, what did you do to preserve this evidence?
Like I said, I kept it in front of my unit for my dash cam to capture if it got tampered with.
Now, was there a perimeter established on this scene?
Yes, we did. We did a perimeter of yellow crime scene tape, and we tried to preserve everything that was in the church and everything that was out as in film.
Is that what we saw, the yellow tape around the cart?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And to your knowledge, were people allowed into the area that was enclosed or encased by that yellow tape?
People were not, unless you were a deputy.
And who came and collected this evidence? Do you know?
I believe our crime scene tech, Marissa Popple.